I believe many of us can agree with this statement. The United States military is undoubtedly the strongest in the world. With that said, it is confronted with an array of challenges. The two big ones that receive a lot of press are Russia and Ukraine, and China with Taiwan. Beyond that, with the advent of working AI coming to the fore, the pressure to innovate is now immense. Clearly, wars of the future are still going to be fought with hardware, though this will be integrated and driven by a mix of software and human intervention. This topic in itself prompts a huge range of opportunities and, of course, threats. The way I see it, technology becomes akin to something we would have seen out of a Terminator movie. Now, if you think that's funny or far-fetched, check out China's recently made public Battle Dog. You have to give it to the People's Liberation Army. They really innovated on this one. As for the average Joe, well, you can dream about what else they're cooking up. But to me, it's pretty clear. Humans will likely be fighting wars. They'll still need to hold territory. They'll need to retain superiority in the air, on the sea and land. That said, this is leading to one area where the US military is coming up short year over year. And that, my friends, is recruiting. Take, for example, in 2023, the US Army targeted recruiting 65,000 new soldiers, but it missed that target by just under 20%. So the question has to be posed. What's driving the shortfall? Now, there are any number of reasons the media would put across for these shortfalls, but it's notable that red states or Republican states generally are joining the services at a higher rate than blue or Democrat states. I'm going to argue that the woke cultural push, which infiltrated America through the education system and is supported by many in the media, is creating a whole generation where patriots or being religious is punished or suppressed. So why is it? Well, because people that embrace these outlooks are less inclined to support the woke, tweaked modern socialist agenda. But in the past, and this goes for most countries, these are exactly the people, the ones with the greatest propensity to put their hands up to fight and defend their nations. Let's take a look at a few stories to get a feel on how patriotism is punished in US schools.
East Central High School is backing down after it asked one of its seniors to take down his American flag. Cameron Blazik said school admin asked him twice to remove it, and twice he stood his ground.
He said, "You got to take it down," and I said, "But there's no written rules or anything about that in the student handbook," and I had even read off to him the student handbook and all the guidelines in there. The word flag isn't even in there, aside from the flag twirling section.
He says the school argued since there wasn't a written rule, it could enforce one on a case-by-case basis. He says the school tried to say since his truck was on school property, the school had the right to ask him to take it down.
My love for America is my motivation for running for Commissioner of Patriotism and School Spirit.
This is part of Jimmy Hayward's campaign speech recorded in front of his home with his baby sister holding the Make SBS Great Again sign.
It is an honor to live in this country.
He expected to address the student body of St. Bonaventure Catholic School in May, but he says the principal wouldn't allow it because he didn't follow her orders to remove the references to patriotism.
Look, both of these are simple cases to understand, but they do reflect the basic premise that I make. Only in the woke world would kids be punished for being patriotic. It goes further than this when it comes to religious topics. Even saying things like Merry Christmas are getting crushed by cancel culture. As with most things on the woke agenda, it plays into the notion of inclusiveness. By removing the key pillars of patriotism and/or religion, which the United States and many other nations were built on, you only weaken the fabric of society and what made them great in the first place. So how does this play into the whole military recruitment numbers falling short? Let's take a look at some recruiting videos from the three powers. We'll start off with Russia and China.
起钢枪，就要放下儿女情长，穿上军装，就要舍弃舒适安逸，征战疆场，男儿本色，从军报国，此生无悔。
Now I get it may not work for everyone, but I'm going to argue this would inspire a sizable portion of the population to reflect on their lives. What can I do for my country? What impact can I have? and lighting the flame of patriotism within many. But let's take a look at the American recruitment video.
I also marched for equality. I like to think I've been defending freedom from an early age. When I was 6 years old, one of my moms had an accident that left her paralyzed. Doctors said she might never walk again. But she tapped into my family's pride to get back on her feet, eventually standing at the altar to marry my other mom. With such powerful role models, I finished high school at the top of... I needed my own adventures, my own challenge. And after meeting with an Army recruiter, I found it. A way to prove my inner strength and maybe shatter some stereotypes along the way. I'm U.S. Army Corporal Emma Malone Lord, and I answered my calling.
Guys, watching this, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Seriously, they wonder why they can't recruit enough people. It's like big business is learning. Go woke, go broke. Think the Bud Light campaign on that one. So the problem to solve is recruiting more people to the military. They spend a fortune, create an ad like this, and they don't even address the target market. If it was business marketing like this, it would go bankrupt. I just wouldn't see this type of thing as getting through under a Trump regime. What will it be next for the Democrats? Dressing the troops in pink. I can see the logic now. How humiliating it would be for the Chinese and Russians to be captured by troops dressed in pink uniforms. The notion of making America great again, in my view, is very much founded in sustaining values and inclusion that allows common sense to prevail. If I'm not Christian, it's not a big deal. I can say Merry Christmas. It's a national holiday and part of the culture. The woke socialist penetration of society occurs via death by 1,000 cuts. I'm arguing that it's even threatening America's position as the strongest military in the world. It doesn't happen overnight. People are indoctrinated over time. The US and its military needs a president like Donald Trump to bring the country together, to look after those people who bravely served this country in the past, continue to do so in the present, to inspire the next generation and to reinstill in some the values and cultural identity that made America a success, a land of opportunity and indeed the home of the brave. Also, most importantly for its military, and let's face it, for the free world, a land where people are lining up to serve their country and to put their life on the line for it.